What's going on YouTube? It's Tempest CFB. So I hope this video doesn't turn out too bad. My computer's been having some minor technical issues. So if the audio is not synced or something, or if it's really laggy, I apologize. But I'm just glad you're here watching this video. So if you clicked on this link, then you're probably looking to help yourself with a Buddyfight deck. Look for improvements maybe, or options that you can use for your deck. Some of my other subscribers might be thinking something like, "Oh, the Tempest, why you Tempest CFB? Where's all your Vanguard decks?" And honestly, I'm waiting for set 13 to come out so I can build all my Granblue and other decks, Dimensional Robos specifically. So for those, until then, I have some Buddyfight videos. So for those of you who don't know how to play Buddyfight, I've got some links down below from my friend Stan at the Vanguard. I think he had a really nice tutorial on how to play Buddyfight. So hopefully it's still up. He hasn't taken it down. I'll make sure it's there. And yeah. So if you're interested in Buddyfight, go watch that. Go, buy a trial deck. The Dragonic Force trial deck is probably the best one out there right now. But anyway, you're probably here for the deck. So I'll just go ahead and go to the deck profile right now for all you Buddyfight players out there. So thank you for watching this. Now this deck is still a work in progress. I literally just got everything to finish it today, and I'm still testing some of my options for this deck. So like I said, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But I'll go ahead and get started. It's a Armor Dragon Dragon World deck, and my buddy right now is Drumbunker Dragon. Basically, your buddy can be anything that you have 4 copies of in your deck. I'm honestly using Drumbunker because it's a decent card overall. It's got basically the threshold in this game for power is like 5,000. So as you can see, he has 5,000 attack, 5,000 defense, and he has 3 critical, which is really good. So, and he only costs one gauge to play. So he's just a really good card in general, in basically any Armor Dragon deck. So, and as a buddy, he just offers a lot of options when using him. You can put him in your center and use him as defense, or you can call him on the left and right and use him as an attacker. And both of those work really well. Now he's not the only 4 I have in here. But he's basically the best buddy I have, so yeah. Like I said, there's plenty of other options you can use if you want to play Drumbunker. Just remember your buddy should always be a 4 because you want to be able to buddy call every game if you can. So for our size 1s, we've got 4,000 Rapier Dragon. Your standard 5k vanilla with 2 crit. Prefer him over Zantetsu no Dachi because he has 2 crit, basically, that's it. This clan I think is the only one with or not this clan, this world is the only one with a card like Dragoenergy that lets you power up your own units when they're being attacked. So baiting your opponent to swinging at your weak rear guards like this guy, he only has 1,000 defense. You can bait them into swinging into it and then play the Dragoenergy and pop their monster basically, which is kind of nice. 3 Gravehorn Dragon. He's your next beat stick. He's your 4k, 2k with 2 crit. Basically, I don't really have anything better to play. I don't like Zantetsu no Dachi, I already said. And I don't particularly like Latal's Shield either. So basically, this is the only guy you have left. He's just a basic beat stick that can swing for 2, which is kind of nice. And the last size 1 I play is 4 Bladewing Dragon. If I had 5 of these, if I owned 5, I would actually make him my buddy. Because I really like this card. What he does is, he's no cost to play. He's a 2/2 with 2 crit, and he has move. So what you can do with him is put him on left or right, and then at the start of your opponent's turn, or at the start of the battle phase, you can have him move to the center. And then from there you can Dragoenergy him, or just let him die. Either way, he's only a size 1. The only good thing about him is that he does 2 damage. So I think this card can be really clutch. I would play 3 or 4 of it in your deck if you have space for it. It's a good defender and attacker, honestly. And like I said, if you're playing 4 Dragoenergy like I am, you don't have to play 4 Dragoenergies if you don't want to. But if you are like I am, then you can use them to bait out your opponent's cards, which is kind of nice. For size 2s, I'm playing 4 of the Drumbunker Dragon, my buddy, obviously. This deck its main focus, I haven't already said it, so I will now, because the size ones are all vanillas basically. So this deck's main focus is maintaining a solid offense and a solid defense at the same time. So at any given point in time, you should be able to push for 2 to 3 damage every turn and block 1 or 2 of your opponent's attacks every turn, basically. So that should be your ideal goal with this particular build that I'm playing. That's my ideal goal every time I play it. And Drumbucker Dragon just fulfills that role really well, because he can either sit in the center and block attacks because he has Soul Guard, and you can also sit on the side and poke for 3 every turn. So that's really good, and he's basically a staple in this deck. The next card is 3 Gust Charging Dragon. He's your 6k vanilla with 3 criticals. You can play Extreme Sword if you want. The only reason I'm playing Gust Charging is because he's a 6k instead of a 5k. So yeah, it's pretty good. There's a bunch of other options for your size 2 vanillas, but I prefer this guy just because he's the strongest, I think. 2 Drumbunker Dragon Barrier Breakers. He's a 6/1 with 3 crit and penetrate. I'm basically playing this guy over Pile Bunker Dragon. I think you need to play penetrators in this current meta because Magic World and Katana World are so prevalent, like everywhere. And they have cards that can either stop your shit or they'll just come back after they're destroyed. So having guys with penetrate is really important to keep dealing damage to your opponent. The reason I prefer this guy over Pile Bunker is because he's 6k with 3 crit, whereas Pile Bunker is only 4k with 2 crit. Now granted, it's going to cost 2 gauge to play, whereas Pile Bunker only will actually cost no gauge, but I just like this guy's power, so that's the only reason I play 2 of it. I wouldn't play any more than that because it does cost 2 gauge, and this deck is actually, it's not super high on gauge, but playing this card and like another card in the game is like you're not going to be able to use your win condition. So I wouldn't play more than 2 of this guy. If you're playing Pile Bunker Dragon, you can probably get away with 3 or even 4 if you want to, but I wouldn't play more than 2 of this guy. And the last size 2 is 1 Halberd Dragon. I pulled this out of my booster box, which is the only reason I'm playing it. It's a 6/6 with 2 crit and it can move, same as the Blade Dragon, and its call cost is only 1 gauge. So it's a decent beat stick, and it's a decent defender, and it can move. So if you draw this card, you can basically make it, it basically becomes a 5th drum bunker. You can use it for attacking or defending. And I was playing the 4th Gust Charging Dragon before I pulled this, and I'm still testing it out. I think that it's really, that the defense it gives is going to be a lot more viable than the 4th Gust Charging Dragon. So that's the only reason I'm playing it. And I wouldn't actually play more than 1 of this. You could probably get away with 2, but I don't think you need to play in this build like more than 1 or 2 of it because you have 4 of the size 1 mover, the Blade Wing Dragon. And last I'm playing 2 size 3s, Inferno Armor Dragon. This card is so freaking good, it's not even funny. Okay, so this card, what you do is, his call cost is pay 2 gauge. He's a 7/7 size 3 with 3 critical. So you can put him in your center and he's a 7k wall, or you can put him on your left and right and make him a 7k attacker, keep your center open, well, what have you, right? He costs 2 gauge to play, and then you put 2 cards on top of your deck into your soul. When he's called, if any of the cards in his soul are armor dragons, kill one of your opponent's rear guards. And then you can also use his other ability, which is an act, to discard 2 soul and destroy an opponent's monster. So basically, he does what Day of the Dragon normally does for you with 1 more gauge, and you're also committing a 7/7 with 3 crit to the board, which is really cool. Also, he's better than Rising Flare Dragon because Rising Flare Dragon is the same cost, but it only kills 1 thing, and also better stats. So the only downside to him is he's a size 3, but with the backup support I have in this deck, it doesn't even matter that he's a size 3 because if you put him in the center, your opponent's going to want to take him out because he has 3 critical and some power. And you have like so much defense in this deck, it's not even funny. But the other thing you can do with him is like put him on the right. But if you leave him on the right, the only thing is your opponent might not go after him. They'll probably just start swinging at you directly. So you need to be careful when you play him. Know where to play him. Know when to play him. Basically, is what you have to do. And he can be really clutch because he has 3 crit and he can clear your opponent's board really easily. So I play 2. This is a tech choice. Honestly, you can probably play something else if you want to, but I have so much room for techs in this deck. It seems pretty necessary. All right. So the rest of these are kind of staple spells because Dragon World is so defense oriented. It's not even the rest of it's kind of no brainer. So you have 4 green Dragon Shields. You nullify an attack and you gain a life. This card is a staple in every Dragon World deck. Maybe not as a 4 of, but I think it's definitely a staple. like I said, this deck is both offensive and defensive, so being able to leave your center open and play this is the Blue Dragon Shield. If your center's open, gauge 1 and negate an attack, so pretty good. Next for Dragoenergy, like I said, it's a must play in this deck, I think. With all the moving you do, and with all the stuff in the center that you want to keep safe, this card is really important. Like normally your opponent's going to waste a link attack trying to burn your Inferno Armor Dragon or your Drumbunker Dragons, so having a card like this to just stop their push that turn is really freaking good, and that's why I play 4 of it. Sometimes 4 gets cloggy, but since you're gauging 1 every turn to draw 1, it doesn't really hurt me that much. So, and honestly, I can't really do anything else I'd rather play instead. I've already got enough monster removal. I don't need to play like Dragonic Thunder or anything. So, next is 2 Dragonic Formation. This is kind of another nullified card. What it does is if you're being attacked, you can move an Armor Dragon from your left or right into the center, and then change the target of that attack to that monster. So what you can do with this card is you can do the Gau Formation, the quote-unquote triple offensive, where you equip a weapon, play a size 1 and a size 2, and have the size 2 be like a Drumbunker Dragon. So when you buddy call it, you just put it over here. Or let's say you have, actually no, Dragonblade Dragon is the best thing. So you can play this when you're being attacked, and drum to the center, and if he still has his soul there, then the soul guard will take the hit for you. So he basically turns Drumbunker Dragon or Inferno Armor Dragon into a nice wall that can move. So it's a tech choice. You don't have to play this card if you don't want to. There's definitely other options, but I think it's really interesting because it helps you with your defense and can really punish your opponent. Next is 2 Dragonic Charge. This card lets you gauge 2 when you play it, and it's a counterspell. The only reason I play this card is because I have a bunch of size 2s and 3s that cost 2 gauge. And I also like to have my impact be my win condition. So rather than just push with my vanillas, I like to Gargantua Punisher if I can, because it is so good. And it's the best impact in the game, obviously. It's the hardest to use, but it's definitely the best impact in the game. So having that extra gauge to be able to use Gargantua every game is definitely useful. And they're able to use this every game. You know, there'll be times when I don't draw Gargantua and I'll just gauge this to draw something else, and I'll draw like 6k vanilla and then just play it and then swing with it instead. You know, no big deal, but it is there when you need it, which is kind of nice. And the last spell is 2 Dragonic Grimoire. This card I took out a size 2 and a impact 4. Basically the logic was that if you're at 5 or less life, this card lets you discard your hand and draw 3 cards. So it can basically thin your deck by 3 cards. So cutting 1 of your impacts and 1 of your size 2s isn't going to really hurt you that much. That was my logic behind it. I haven't really tested this card out too much, so it doesn't actually sit well with me. I think Buddy Help might actually be better at this point because I am playing with 2 Dragonic Charges. Buddy Help is a generic spell that lets you pay 3 gauge and draw 2 cards, just in general. But it's not a counter spell; it's just a normal spell. So that's definitely another option. I'm playing this because it's cheaper and it's just a Dragon World card. So that's the only reason I'm playing it. And draw power is actually pretty good late game in this deck if you can't outgrind your opponent. Because if you run out of that defensive power and you haven't drawn Gargantua, or you haven't won, or you didn't have a weapon or something, I don't know, then it's going to be really hard for you to win, and so you need to use the Dragonic Grimoire whenever you can. So last we have our impacts and weapons. Weapons, I'm playing 2 Dragoknuckles, basically because I only own 2. I would definitely play more if I had them, because this card helps you get gauge really fast, and its counteract is pretty good because it goes up to 4k. Basically it's in there for that potential OTK with Gargantua Punisher. If you don't already know what that is, it's where you open Gargantua and you play this, and you play a size 1 with 2 crit and a size 2 with 3 crit, and you go swing 2, gauge 1, and you should already be at 3 gauge for the charge and draw for that turn. Or you could have used a Blue Dragon Shield last turn to gain a gauge that way, that works too. And then you swing with the 3 crit size 2. That puts your opponent at -7, so they're at 3 or 4 depending on if they buddy called or not. And assuming they haven't nullified any attacks, that's game because you can Gargantua off this. So that's the OTK. Not much to it. I would play 4 of this if I could. Since I do not have 4, I'm playing 4 Dragobreach. This is a 5k 3 crit weapon, one of the best weapons in the game. Its equip cost is pay 1 gauge and take a life. So it's basically a better version of Dragobrave. So if you're trying to play Dragobraves right now, definitely get this card. This card is amazing right now. It's the same cost as equipping a Dragoknuckle, but it's like as powerful as Dragobreach, which is why I really like it. You can probably get away with 3. I tried cutting it down to 3, and I bumped it back up to 4 because I realized that the weapon in this deck, having it is really important to help you maintain your offensive strategy. Because you want to be able to leave your center open to use your shield units, but if you don't have any weapons equipped, there's not really much point in leaving your center open now, is there? So better to have this at least one weapon equipped, some sort of weapon equipped, so you can actually have a valid reason for leaving your center open. And the last card is 3 Gargantua Punisher. I was playing 4, like I said, 4 actually of this, and I didn't actually like it at 4. Well, I did like it at 4, but I was kind of drawing it a lot. And don't get me wrong, I like drawing Gargantua Punisher. I like winning. I think winning is fun. I think winning is important. But the fact is, I think draw power is also more important for my late game grind game with Dragonic Grimoire. So with 3 of this card, you should ideally be able to play it every game. Well, not every game still, but like you should still be able to draw into it relatively consistently. With a couple minor exceptions. Another thing you can do is you can cut a weapon for the 4th one, which is what I did initially, was play with 5 weapons and 4 impacts. With 5 weapons, you have a 1 in 10 chance of drawing a weapon every turn because there's 5 of them in a 50 card deck. So ideally, you have a better than 100% chance of experimental probability of opening your weapon. That's still good. I want to be able to open a weapon if I can. And I think being able to open a weapon and Gargantua is important, which is why I wanted to up it to 4. But I think it works at 3, especially with the Dragonic Grimoires in here. So, yeah, that's the deck. I was playing the Dragonic Punishers in here, but honestly, they don't win you the game. And against Magic World, they can just pay that 1 spell to negate any non-creature spell, and yeah, so there you go. You just lost 4 gauge and 2 life, and you probably just lost the game because it's a lot of resource you paid for Dragonic Punisher. The other impacts for Dragon World aren't nearly as powerful as Gargantua, so if you're playing any impacts at all, try to play Gargantua Punisher. Yeah, I think it's basically all I have to say about the deck. It's really fun. Like I said, it's pretty consistent. Like I said, there's a bunch of decks in here that I personally have, and there's a bunch of options you can use because Dragon World is one of the most diverse worlds in Buddyfight right now. So, yeah, not much else to say about the deck. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this video is helpful. I'm sorry it ran a little long, but I'm hoping I hope it was helpful for you in your helping you build your Buddyfight Dragon World deck. Yeah. So thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more Buddyfight. Hey guys, I forgot at the end of my last video that I wanted to show you the sideboard for Buddyfight. Buddyfight allows you to have a 10-card sideboard in each tournament, so I wanted to show you mine for my Drum Bunker Dragon deck. It's nothing really special, but I think it's pretty good to help you countering a bunch of the meta choices out there. Basically, it's just 2 Rising Flare Dragon to help you just kill random stuff. I know I said in my video this guy's kind of bad compared to Inferno Armor Dragon, but if you need that extra removal, it's good to have him for just killing random things. 2 Wrath of Dragon. This card is basically a better Dragoenergy. Instead of giving a dragon 3k and 3 defense, it gives it a 6k attack and defense. The only difference is this doesn't give it counterattack. So if you just want to save something, this card's better against really powerful decks like Danger World that have really powerful monsters. So I side 2 of that. 2 Dragon Crush to help you destroy weapons and other items that are really important. This card isn't as necessary against some decks, but against those pesky Magic World decks that run the stupid Gunrod cards, or against a player that has like 4 Dragoknuckles in their main deck, this card is really important because it can help them set them back. 2 Day of the Dragon. This card is Dark Hole. You pay 1 gauge and then destroy all of your opponent's monsters, but you can't attack with your monsters on that turn, so you can only attack with your weapon. And I did check the ruling on that, and yes, you can still attack with your weapon. The advantage this card has over, say, Inferno Armor Dragon is this card only costs 1 gauge. But like I said, you can't attack with your monsters when you do it. So, against decks like Magic World that like to go triple offensive with 3 size 1s, or Katana World to do that same thing with like usually 3 size 1s. This card can be really devastating to them, even more devastating than Inferno Armor, because Inferno Armor can only take out a maximum of 2 cards, and sometimes it can only take out 1. So this card's kind of important. And the last card is 2 Dragoanthem. you pay 2 gauge to equip this card. It has double attack, but it can only attack the center. So against an opponent who has a deck like Dual Dragons that plays like Demon Godel, or like against Cyber Ninjas, a Cyber Ninja deck that has like Tsuchikage just sitting in your center. This card is really good because it can swing twice at your opponent's center and like take out 2 of their souls, or take out 2 hits or 2 cards from their hand or whatever. So this card is definitely good. I don't like it in main because it only has 1 critical, but I think it's definitely a good side card against some decks. So that's the side deck. Thank you for watching this video. I'm sorry it ran so long. I'll make sure to put a list in the description.